Welcome back. Let's talk about the learner principle, a principle that helps you change the course of any conflict, at work and at home. When you approach a conversation or a relationship, do you enter with a knowing mindset or a learning mindset? What does that mean? Let me give you an example. George attended a manufacturing meeting during which he proposed a new material for a car. Carbon instead of aluminum or steel, because it is much lighter and therefore much more fuel efficient. Cool, right? Tom, a big guy with over 20 years experience in manufacturing, turned to George and responded, "That's not possible. I have done manufacturing for 20 years. It's too expensive. Carbon cannot be mass produced. We've tried it and others tried it too." For a moment everyone in the room was quiet, and bam, they had a conflict. George thinks it's possible and Tom thinks it's not. What do you think happened next? You got it. They started arguing who was right, trying to find more and more arguments to prove their point. Sound familiar? This is the knowing mindset. In conflict situations, we are very much used to taking the role of the knowing person. "I know it's possible," says one, and "I know it's not possible," says the other. This knower mindset is the reason for any conflict. It is the reason why relationships suffer. As Tom and George took the knower perspective, the meeting was not about the opportunity at hand anymore, or to solve a problem together. The purpose of the meeting turned into who's right. This is very common. So why does this happen? It is all about our identity. George's identity is based on what he knows. As a consequence, he feels immediately disrespected or threatened when this knowledge is questioned. And so what he does, he digs his heels into the ground, and now it's George against Tom. Me against you. There's no room for us anymore. The knower perspective killed the meeting at our client, and it kills any team spirit or relationship. The knowing mindset is the source of all conflicts. A knowing mindset always contains judgment. This is right, that's wrong, he's an idiot, she is a good person. The knowing mindset and the judgment that comes with it creates separation and distance, the complete opposite of the connection and trust we all seek. The truth is, we never see anything as it really is. We see everything and everyone around us through our own pair of glasses. As the Talmud states, we do not see things as they are, we see them as we are. We are usually convinced that our outlook is the right one. And as a result, we often slip into the role of the knowing person without even noticing it. This knower perspective creates a lot of problems. Let me give you an example. There are two people in a tower. One on the 3rd floor overlooking a beautiful, thick green forest, and the other person on the 10th floor looking out into a different direction. What she sees is a wide open field with a large army approaching. With a knowing mindset, both stand their ground firmly as they state what they see to be the reality. The disagreement starts. "We're safe, nothing is going to happen," says the person on the 3rd floor. And she replies, "That's not true, we're in trouble." Do you see how the knower perspective prevented the two from interacting with each other? In order to connect and collaborate, they must actually switch their perspective to the other person's vantage point. Learn what the other person sees from their window. They need to switch from the knower to the learner perspective. The learner perspective is the doorway to connection and collaboration. This is the mindset where you remain open and curious. If someone attacks you in a conversation, even then you remember, "I wonder what she sees from the 10th floor that I don't see." Maybe you heard of wild elephants. Maybe this sounds obvious to you, but to put it into practice is another story. Think of a recent conflict you had with somebody. How much did you or they try to really understand what the other sees? Go back into the office tomorrow morning and look at how people actually interact. Are they willing to switch to the perspective of the learner? What drives the learner is the desire to understand the perspective of the other person. It's not about me versus you, but about us. Always. This takes the ego out of the equation, and as a consequence, we have a team-centric, not an egocentric approach to business. Let me clarify the learner principle with a short case study. We developed a leadership program for a company which contained a week-long segment in China, in conjunction with one of Beijing's largest and leading university. One of the teachers in the program was Professor Li, one of China's top financial experts and an advisor to the government. He welcomed our group, and as he mingled with everybody in the room, he approached them with an incredible curiosity, with a complete learner mindset. He said, "I like your new car series a lot. They're designed so beautifully, but I wonder, how did you manage to get them so energy efficient? What else are your plans for the future with this series?" He wanted to learn. He was genuinely interested and extremely humble. Remember, he was one of the top financial experts in China and a high-ranking representative from one of the top universities. He could have come into the room saying, "I'm so-and-so, I'm very important, I will tell you all about China." But he didn't. He came with an incredible, powerful learning mindset. And as a result, everyone in the room was blown away by this person. The participants gave him the highest evaluation in the entire program. A few days later, we visited the company's manufacturing plant outside Beijing. And as we met with a handful of the local executives, one of the local plant managers suddenly barged into the room. "Here I am," he says. "Now let's get started. Welcome to China." He actually cut his HR executive off in the middle of her sentence. It was clear he was the big guy. He knew stuff. He barged in with a knower mentality, and everyone in the room was repulsed by his attitude. The executives turned to me after the meeting and apologized for his behavior. When we teach people the learning principle in our workshops, they sometimes express concern. They say, "In our company, I sometimes have to be the knower, or my boss will not think I'm strong." As you can see from the China example, the learning mindset does not mean that you don't know your stuff or that you're weak. You can still be absolutely clear where you stand. The learner mindset just opens another door of understanding. It shows that a leader values the perspectives of his team. Let's now look how to put the learner principle into practice.